here for the weekly PDN update. Now, this is a little bit late from when we normally do it, but I wanted to wait until we were actually up here. I'm in the Pacific Northwest, so I left the PDN tour truck in Minneapolis. I'm going to be back in St. Paul teaching next week, but I'm out here at Mike Hughes' place, and we are in a luxuriously green, relatively dry Pacific Northwest for a very special event with one of our contributors, Chris Collins. Chris, tell us a little bit about this event that you've brought everybody out here together for.
Okay, so Jeremy Wilson contacted us from Wilson Tactical Training. We got together, pulled in some of the instructors from across the country to include Hilton here. We got guys out on the range training. We got Mike Hughes, of course, this is his facility. We also got Omari, Broussard, of course, Rob Pincus. I don't think I'm missing anybody.
No, Jeremy's out on the range.
Jeremy's out on the range. So
and Tim Lau running camera for us.
Yeah, Tim, right back there running camera for us. So the idea is to get the different ideas that instructors have, convey those to the student in a way that they can train at home, or a way that they can understand these concepts and get them actively engaged and understanding. Just because this person says to do it this way, let's find out what's a viable option to use for defense.
I think it's great. You know, like personal defense, we try to bring in a lot of different contributors. We have 75 different DVDs. We have 12 or 13 different contributors there. Plus, we have everybody that writes the articles, including Chris, who's recently joined the team. Actually, out of this whole group, it's probably myself and Omari Broussard from the combat focus shooting side, and Tim Lau and Hilton Yam from the 10-8 side that are probably the most extremes, right? And we've got some of the other guys more in the middle, more like Mike Hughes is a real specialist when it comes to the mechanics of, you know, really dissecting that last 10% of potential. But as it stands, I think Hilton and I probably have known each other the longest also. And you know, what are your thoughts on the way it's played out so far, Hilton?
Well, we're finding, as we talked about over the last couple of days, that a lot of the things and our end goals have a lot of overlap, and that what we are trying to get the students to do is not that diametrically opposed. We have some different approaches that end up putting the students in the same place. And
one of the things that I think a lot of people, you know, we didn't realize is if Chris moves out of the way for a second, like, it's not actually antimatter, like, it's okay, you know, we can be on the range at the same time. Hilton, as everybody knows, you know, I'm not a fan of the 1911s. Hilton is one of the great artists when it comes to tuning and making 1911s work, putting a lot of time, effort, and energy into it. And of course, he's known as one of the best gunsmiths in the country when it comes to actually working high-end 1911s. But we found out that there is absolutely no argument. We both agree on one important point.
Well, the 1911 is not for every user. All right, the 1911 is going to require an absolutely dedicated end user, and we're doing a introductory CCW defensive pistol class here, and that is not the time to be learning a very high-end, expensive gun that's going to require a very intensive maintenance cycle. In fact, I am teaching the class an empty holster, but it's an empty holster for an M&P.
Yeah, so actually, both seeing you and Tim out here with practical guns was a relief, right? Because we were thinking, wow, how are we going to handle that? But your practical approach, which is to be expected, given that, you know, I know your head's all around this and thinking about how do you make people safer. For more information,
you visit 10-8performance.com.
And of course, over here,
A.T.A.P training. You can find me on Facebook. Also, I'm director of training with Mike for next level training. So the sustainment portion of our inert dry fire training tools is something we also incorporated in the class. For a variety of skill sets.
Actually, why the holster is empty, because we were running the SIRT pistols earlier. But and another thing about those SIRT pistols, of course, Mike Hughes is also a contributor to Personal Defense Network, as is Omari Broussard. So we've got a lot of the team out here. Mike Hughes has actually talked about laser training methodology. We've been using a lot of that out here. So here for this week, the main point of the update, you know, yeah, we've been doing all our training, we've been running around, a lot of people are busy, but here, this is a collaborative effort brought together by Chris Collins and Jeremy Wilson so that a bunch of different minds could wrap around the problem of fundamental defensive shooting and concealed carry skill development. And the good news is they're going to make a DVD of it that'll be available later this year. Got Britt and Mike from Next Level Training. You guys know them probably. This was the first time they had a chance to shoot the Caracal. Now, I'm nearing the end of the test that we wanted to put the two guns through, and I know that we've had great success with it. I've been impressed with it, and we're considering, the question in hand is, do we add this to the list of modern striker firearms that we recommend for personal defense? Guys, thoughts? Britt, you got to shoot it first?
Thoroughly enjoy it. I thought that the recoil management was phenomenal. The ergonomics of the pistol fits the hand beautifully. The trigger itself was very crisp, very smooth. A surprise break. I was very surprised in a positive way.
Mike?
I liked it. I flat out liked it. I just grabbed it and shot it just very viscerally to see how it feels, see how it pointed, see how the trigger broke. Just did a rapid shot drill right off the grip. and I was impressed. I think that the most impressive thing was that felt recoil. There's some theory maybe where the spring's placed or what have you, but at the end of the day, it's really how does it feel, how does it track, how consistent does it come back down the front side to the back side for that realignment of the muzzle, and it does it very naturally. The trigger's a little bit unique in that it doesn't really, it just breaks. It doesn't really have that prep and then a break, but it's something I have to get used to, but I think it's something that actually might be more desirable. So I think anyone really should give this a full
that's a lot of fulls.
Full something.
And what's going on in here, again, obviously this gun's clear. What's going on inside of this thing, as we know, is that there's not a plunger that has to be pushed up for the inertial safety. So that stacking that we normally feel, that resistance as the trigger transfer racks upwards on a ramp to push that plunger up, this one has more of a leaf spring set up. It pushes out to the side. I think that's a big part of the innovation here. Really is representative of a potential evolution of modern striker fire designs. Definitely something unique. We've had great success with it. Appreciate you guys chiming in.